Today we are enjoying the 36th annual meeting between the Southeast United States Japan and Japan Southeast U.S. associations. It's an annual meeting. It's been going on since 1975. This is the first time it's been in Mississippi, and we're enjoying great fellowship and developing great business opportunities with our colleagues throughout the other 6 southeastern states and our colleagues from Japan.
We're very fortunate to be hosting it here in Mississippi. About 450 attendees, over 75 different Japanese companies and corporations represented here today. And this is about us doing business, the state of Mississippi and the Southeast doing business with Japan.
I had a chance to speak with the ambassador last night, and Ambassador Sasai and I had a conversation. I told him about the special relationship between Japan and the state of Tennessee. It's one that's existed for more than 3 decades, and it goes back to a moment in our history, or at least in recent history, that has become very famous. It began back in late 70s when now Senator Lamar Alexander, then Governor Lamar Alexander, went to speak with the folks at Nissan and said, "We'd like you to come to Tennessee." And their response was a fairly logical one: "Where is Tennessee?" Governor Alexander was prepared for the question. He pulled out a nighttime map of the United States, with the country highlighted by the density of population with lights. And if you looked at where all the people lived, it was fairly easy to see that right in the middle of that, in terms of the concentration of people, was the state of Tennessee. And so he drew a circle and said, that in the middle of it is Tennessee, and that's where we would like you to come. That began a relationship with Nissan that has proven to be very profitable for both companies and a lot of other companies with Japanese roots as well. Today, Tennessee is second only to California in the amount of foreign direct investment from Japanese businesses. It's quite a statistic when you consider the size of Tennessee and California. Today, 176 Japanese companies employ more than 40,000 Tennesseans. So when I say it's a special relationship, I mean that. Japanese businesses and consumers also are buying Tennessee goods in record numbers. In the last 10 years, Tennessee exports to Japan have doubled to $1.2 billion a year. But you know, it's more than logistics that drive this relationship. I think there's a certain commonality. Our friends in Japan place a terrific emphasis on 2 things that we highly value as well: customer satisfaction and efficient and effective processes. In Tennessee, we still make things, and we take great pride in that fact. We make cars, guitars, a little bit of whiskey every now and then, some candy, you name it. We're proud of the products that bear our name, and we're proud of the partnership with our friends from Japan, who have not only helped us employ a lot of Tennesseans and not only bought a lot of our goods, but they've taught us how to be more effective in business, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. You're in the right part of the country. Whether you're in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, North or South Carolina, you're where the growth is. We do, as Governor Haslam says, we want to build things. We want to make things. And this is where you have dynamic leaders that are trying to grow their economies. We're all trying to make sure that we have the best economy. We know that in our states, our families want jobs, they want a great education, they want a low cost of living, and they want to live in a safe environment. And I think you can say, as a general rule, that that's true in this part of the country. And this part of the country is growing rapidly. I just got back from my trip to Japan, and these are things we talked about. In Florida, we're a tourist capital. We'll have 95 million tourists come to our state this year. Fortunately, 270,000 of them will come from Japan. A few million would be nice, but 270,000 is a good start. Japan is our largest foreign direct investor in our state, and they have quite a few companies there, over 200 companies with over 20,000 jobs in our state. We had a great trip, and there, I believe, for all of us, including Florida, there's a significant opportunity to grow our relationship. Now, the things that we sell in our state is we're one of the few states in the United States that doesn't have an income tax. Like most states in the Southeast, we have a low business tax. Now, about 70% of our companies don't have to pay it because of credits. We'll soon pass New York as the 3rd biggest state in the United States. We have 19.2 million people, over 9 million people in our workforce. We're very focused on, no different than everybody up here, we're very focused on technology. We've just added our 12th public university, which will be 100% tied to science, technology, engineering, and math. We're clearly the gateway to Latin America, which gives us the opportunity to have a lot of Japanese and other foreign investors have their locations primarily down the Miami, Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale area. But that area of the state's growing very rapidly because we're clearly the gateway to Latin America. We have 15 seaports, 19 airports. We're trying to make sure we're the shipping capital for the East Coast as much as we can. We've made significant investments in our ports. In the last 3 years, almost $700 million have been invested in our ports. Also, Georgia is also part of this. I was going through all those states. I'm sorry, I forgot. Georgia also is one of the great states in the South, which we compete with on a daily basis because they're another great state. We have 5 million multilingual speakers in our state. So if you're doing business anywhere in Latin America, clearly we have somebody that can be helpful. We're also in the process, like I think every other state in the Southeast, trying to figure out how we can reduce our taxes. This year, our next session will reduce our taxes over $500 million. We're trying to make sure every dollar stays in, whether you're a consumer or a Florida citizen, in your hands, or in a company, so you can invest more in people, in research, technology, marketing, all those things. We're trying to make sure our state, like every other state in the Southeast, we are the #1 place for businesses to fulfill their customer needs. So it's great to be here. Thanks.
I'm certainly delighted to be here on behalf of the state of Georgia. It's incredible to think that this organization is now in its 36th year of existence. It's a tremendous feat and stresses that the value that the southeastern United States and our Japanese counterparts place on this relationship. I'm also impressed by the caliber of the companies and organizations present today, including our delegation of nearly 40 Georgians that have gathered to cultivate these relationships. And I certainly look forward to our conversations and working over the next few days. Part of the reason our delegation looks forward to this SEUS-Japan conference is because Georgia holds this relationship with Japan in very high regard. In fact, Japanese companies in Georgia have grown to more than 400 facilities since the founding of SEUS-Japan in 1975. SEUS-Japan plays a role for growing investment, trade, and cultural exchange within our region, all while making new friends and connections along the way. This past August, our Governor, Nathan Deal, led a high-level business, trade, and tourism mission to Asia. While the purpose of this trip was to emphasize the state's commitment to building key relationships, it was also a celebration for Georgia's oldest economic development office in Tokyo, which you'll hear more about later today. As one of our state's largest trading partners, Georgians recognize the importance of maintaining bonds with our friends from Japan. We believe without strong bonds with Japan, Georgia would not be as prosperous as it is today. Less than 2 weeks ago, Site Selection magazine named Georgia the #1 business climate in the United States. This is a tremendous achievement, as it has been one of the state's top priorities. Since we last met, Georgia has grown to include the headquarters of 16 Fortune 500 companies. Industry leaders like UPS, Home Depot, and Delta Airlines call Georgia home. The state has approximately 3,000 international facilities from over 60 different countries located throughout the state, with Japan being Georgia's top investor nation. As business in Georgia expands and countries like Japan continue to invest in our state, we are working hard to facilitate the resources to meet the growing needs of this dynamic business community. There is no better example of this than the expansion of the Port of Savannah, which will soon accommodate larger cargo and vessel types more efficiently. We believe the port's increased capacity will broaden our import-export market, improve production, and enhance operations in our state. In closing, let me say that this event provides so many opportunities for companies of all sizes. We all have a common goal to create a prosperous environment within this alliance, and we look forward to what the next year will bring for Japan and the Southeast region. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the state of South Carolina and South Carolina Department of Commerce, it's an honor to join you today. Since 2011, the Palmetto State has announced more than $9.5 billion capital investment and more than 39,000 jobs. South Carolina is fortunate to enjoy the relationship with Japan, and that relationship has spanned decades. For that, we're thankful. Thanks to the recognition of the important role Japan plays in our state economy, we maintain a state office in Tokyo. Greg Line currently leads that office for us. Japan has invested more than $7 billion in our state. Currently, there are 147 Japanese affiliates operating in South Carolina, employing more than 12,500 South Carolinians. Japan and South Carolina are partners, with investment dollars coming to South Carolina as well as exports headed to Japan. 2012 exports to Japan amounted to more than $727 million, making Japan our 7th largest export market. Bridgestone, Fujifilm, Honda, Kawashima, Komatsu, Mitsubishi, and Yutaka are just a few Japanese companies that have found success in South Carolina. Just recently, Bridgestone Firestone made an investment of $1.2 billion for a tire plant. That's the largest initial investment in economic development in the history of our state. South Carolina is home to 200 aerospace companies, and that will have invested more than $3.3 billion in our state. As the aviation industry grows, South Carolina has emerged as a globally recognized player, anchored by industry giants like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Honeywell, General Electric, Michelin Aircraft Tires. Since Boeing landed in our state 5 years ago, it has invested more than $2 billion and created more than 8,000 jobs, and we're looking to lots and lots more Boeing in our state. Since BMW set up shop in our state 20 years ago, South Carolina's automotive industry has more than tripled. South Carolina continues to prove it is just right for investment and just right for business. We look forward to our friends in Japan continuing to be a part of the South Carolina story. Again, thank you for having me here today. We're pleased to be here to meet our Japanese counterparts and our colleagues from southeastern states to further collaboration between our two great nations. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the great state of North Carolina, I am honored to be here and to bring you good wishes this morning from our Governor, Pat McCrory. North Carolina has a long-standing relationship with the country of Japan and with the Japanese people and their companies. Our state is home to more than 150 Japanese companies with capital investments of over $5 billion. Some of these companies have been doing business in North Carolina for many, many years, and some are most recent. In the last 24 months, we've seen expansions at Deere Hitachi and Honda Aircraft, ASMO and AW North Carolina, NGK and FCC have brought over $365 million in new investment during this time period. And other companies are new to us, like Morinaga, which in September announced that they will be making their fabulous and famous confectionaries in North Carolina. In 2012, Japan also imported $1.8 billion worth of goods from the state. That's up 9% from 2011, and we think there's a whole lot more opportunity there. These facts and economic statistics are important benchmarks for us, and we take pride in the numbers. We watch them very carefully and have goals for moving them forward. But the true fruits of our partnership really come in the relationships that we have and the friendships that we have. And also in the way that we know in partnership, we're improving the lives of people all around the world. For example, the pharmaceuticals that are produced at AZI in Research Triangle Park improve human health. What AZI does is pretty amazing. The innovations in energy production that are created by engineers at companies like GE Hitachi and Toshiba warm people's homes. The absorbent material that's produced by Fuji Silica prevents moisture damage to our food in ways both large and small. And with examples that are really too numerous to name, the partnerships between the people of North Carolina and Japan produce great things, including soon the smiles a little candy can bring. So I want you to watch for haichu. What is now very famous and loved in Japan will soon be loved in America. You like it too. We all do. I keep it in my purse all the time now. So next year when we are together in Tokyo, I'll look forward to seeing it in all of your pockets as well. Recently, we've been working very hard in North Carolina to make what has been a great business climate even better. Thanks to the efforts of our great governor and our legislature, we've made some major tax reform in North Carolina with our eyes set on getting our corporate tax rate down to around 5% and ultimately to 3% over the next few years. The conditions in North Carolina are right. It's a great climate for business. It's a great place to do business. A state with great people who also make things and create things and try to make a difference in the lives of people, not only in our state, but all around the world. We are thankful for the partnership that we have with our friends from Japan in doing just that, and we look forward to that relationship growing in the future. It's great to be with you.
I have just returned from a visit in Japan, apparently following on the coattails of the state of Florida, but we had a very nice, very productive visit, and also would like to thank Chairman and CEO Mr. Ishigi from JETRO, who was kind enough to meet with us, as well as the other CEOs and presidents and chairmen from the various companies that we met with. I'd like you to look around. Look around to your left, to your right, look behind you, and look at those of us who are gathered here in this room today. This is a significant gathering. It is a signpost of the importance of the relationship that continues to build and grow between Japan and the southern and southeastern states of the United States of America. This relationship has taken on greater and greater importance over the last 30 years. You have heard that from each of the states that are members of SEUS-Japan, you have heard the importance of Japan investment in our states. You've heard the importance of the cultural relationships that we share, and I think that Governor Scott put it well when he said that if you look at the United States, you have to look at the southern states and the southeastern states in particular, because we are the states that are most interested in doing business. We have companies such as Toyota, Honda, Otsuka, Daikin, Hayashi Telempu, Toray, Futaba, and many others that have been of great importance to the Alabama economy. So important, in fact, that in 2012, as an example, Japanese companies represented 22 projects of capital investment exceeding $403 million and creation of 1,600 jobs for Alabamians. We've invested in Alabama in the relationship between our two cultures. We have organizations that are deeply important to us, such as JASA, the Japanese American Society of Alabama, investing in growing our relationships. And I can tell you that the state of Alabama looks forward to being the host of the 38th annual joint meeting in 2015. So it's an honor to be here, and thank you for this opportunity.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Mississippi is one of the states I serve. There are many great things in Mississippi. I love beautiful nature. I love especially great food, such as catfish sandwich and Mississippi barbecue. But the greatest things I have is the cowboy boots I received from the Governor Bryan. Now, all of the leaders who just spoke so eloquently on behalf of their states deserve our appreciation and praise. Without their constant attention, hard work, and hospitality, the wonderful partnership that now exists across the South Seas could not be possible. There's an incredible energy and enthusiasm in these regions, and that energy can be seen in many different arenas. During my travels over the last year, I have seen countless examples of the powerful bonds between our two countries. Number one, the American executives are working side by side with their Japanese counterparts, jointly guiding their companies. Number two, workers across the spectrum are eagerly embracing the Kaizen philosophy of continuous improvement. Number three, and everywhere I visit, Japanese and American people understand that together we are stronger, we are more innovative, and we are more resilient. This spirit of partnership spreads far beyond the manufacturing plants. The young people I meet are so eager to engage Japan. Their interest is often born from affection from Japanese pop cultures, but that is only where it begins. With expanded opportunities for Japanese language education in high schools and colleges, they could acquire a more profound understanding of Japan. And by taking advantage of exchange programs, such as the Japan Exchange and Teaching programs, they can experience the real Japan in real time. Last year, our government invited 1,600 young prominent students from all over the world, but 900 are from these countries. So after returning home, they will be able to build their career within a Japanese company and support sister city partnership and organizations such as Japan American societies across the United States. I'm determined to work harder for them. I want to ask for your support. Together, we can develop the aspiring next generations so that they will be able to play a role of bridge between the two countries. It has been my experience that local and state leaders in the Southeast are eager to work with Japanese. I have felt the warm hospitality. Southern hospitality is wonderful. I very much feel welcome and feel at home. I have seen the many ways they have welcomed the Japanese people into their neighbors. I have visited many of the facilities where our people work together. Am I very glad to know that such a wonderful view is shared among the American workers, that success of their companies lead to the success of their families. And as our two economies continue to improve, I know that our partnership will also continue to grow. So on behalf of the Japanese communities in Mississippi and Tennessee, I'm very much honored to welcome you all to this wonderful meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Governor, can you please speak to the significance of international partnerships for your state of Mississippi, as well as the importance of forming international alliances and the role they play in strengthening your state's economy?
I think Mississippi's participation with international groups such as this today and alliances and relationships that we have around the world is vital if we are to remain a contender in global market and keeping our competitive edge. And we work to make sure that we have the top choices for locations for companies when they come to look in the Southeast. Now, that is not easy because we have so many wonderful sister states that are as well working hard for the particular locations that companies seek. Now, what is happening on a global scale, including business trends and market shifts, affect Mississippi and the Southeast as well as the entire United States. Being a part of an international group gives us every opportunity to understand that big picture in economic global shifts, and it also gives us a way to increase our exposure to the entire world. It is for that reason I am a firm believer in organizations like SEUS-Japan, which has to highlight the fact that in our resources is our people and our collaboration that helps us become stronger. Now, you know that little more than 10 years ago, Mississippi had no automotive industry, but today it is a very different story. Thanks to companies like Nissan and Toyota, Yokohama, and a host of suppliers, Mississippi produces more than 2 million vehicles, has produced more than 2 million vehicles, and we are not intending on slowing down. Japan is Mississippi's largest supplier of direct foreign investments. And I'm proud of our strong relationships that we have built with our Japanese colleagues. We have strengthened our aerospace and advanced our manufacturing sectors by forming an aerospace alliance with our sister states of Alabama, Florida, and Louisiana. We work together to recruit aerospace companies for the entire southeastern region. Now, global aviation companies like GE Aviation, Rolls-Royce, Aurora Flight Services, Lockheed Martin, and others are putting down roots here in Mississippi and all across the Southeast. Our international companies like Germany powertrain manufacturer Foria, Russian steel manufacturer Severstal, and Danish companies and Danish company, which is a global insulation manufacturer leader, also have chosen Mississippi as locations for their U.S. facilities. Now, just last week, Expansion Solutions magazine named Mississippi among the top 5 states for advanced manufacturing. Area Development magazine has ranked Mississippi number 9 for top states for doing business, number 2 for competitive utility cost and permitting speed, and number 5 for overall cost of doing business. This means we continue to work hard to develop relationships and to make an environment available for our foreign investors that is conducive to their success. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everyone that we talked to here today, it is the workforce. And Mississippi leads in that area. If you look at the companies, whether it's Toyota, Nissan, Severstal, a German company, each one of them Russian company, but German companies that we've also brought here, like Roxel, talk about the fact that it is the workforce. And so they appreciate the hardworking men and women of the state of Mississippi, and that has made all the difference.
Are you encouraged by what you've heard and seen here today?
Oh, absolutely. We cannot forget that this is a huge opportunity for us. We have the Japanese ambassador to the United States. We have the Consul General. Co-hosting this, along with William Yates, is the chairman of Toshiba. And so we're very honored to have not only these governmental officials, but leaders in government and in business in Japan, and that can mean jobs and economic success for us here in Mississippi.